What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sky, and on today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of the research I did when comparing ATP and United Aviate Academy.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette, yeah.
If you're new here, hello, my name is Sky. I'm 25 and I took my first discovery flight just about 2 years ago. I started taking flight lessons this year and recently received a conditional acceptance into the United Aviate Academy. So in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you some of the research I did when trying to compare Aviate and ATP because those were my final two. I know that someone out there is in the same boat and trying to decide what flight school they're going to go to. So if you're out there, this video is for you. So feel free to let me know your thoughts below of which program you think is better and also where you're at in your flight training journey. I'm just starting. I do not have a PPL license yet, so this video is going to be for those that are starting from about zero time like myself. So I'm excited. Let's get into it. So today's video, we are going to be dividing into several different talking points. We're going to talk about pricing, location, housing, quality of life, being an instructor, the benefits, and more. So buckle up because this is going to be a fully loaded video. I'm also going to try to divide it based on chapters so that, you know, if you're in a rush, you can take what you need. But I highly encourage you to watch the entire video. Alrighty friends, so the first topic that we're gonna cover is locations. I think that it's important to consider location when you're trying to decide on what flight school that you're going to go with because you might have to relocate. ATP has 74 locations across the United States, whereas United Aviate Academy is just located in Arizona. So if you don't live in the Arizona area, you will have to relocate to go to the United Aviate Academy. A great thing about Arizona is that they have pretty good weather year round and you get to experience flying in different conditions. With ATP, a pro is that if you live close to an ATP location, you don't have to worry about moving away from home or having to try to figure out how you're going to cover your rent or your mortgage while you're away because you can just go back and forth to home from the airport when you're finished your flying. One of the cons about all the locations when it comes to ATP is if you're at a place like where I reside, North Carolina, you can experience all 4 freaking seasons in a day. And so that will really impact your flying schedule. So one of the first things that I considered when trying to decide what flight school to go to is location and whether or not I'd be willing to relocate. The next thing we're going to talk about is pricing, and regardless of where you go to flight school, pricing is a big thing because it's going to be expensive regardless of where you go. So the pricing breakdown for ATP that I got is your flight training fees by itself is $91,995. You also have an estimate of $9,200 for additional examination fees and knowledge test. And then also $1,600 for gear such as your iPad and like your headset and anything else, right? So in total for ATP, you're looking at about $102,795 from zero time. Hey guys, Editing Sky here. So I found online where ATP says that their estimate for housing is $8,400, which that is significantly less than what Aviate estimates, which is $18,000 for living expenses, but this $8,400 is just housing, not food, but that is a lot less. So in total, the estimate is $111,000 and some change. So my bad. So I have here the cost breakdown of United Aviate Academy that I got from the conditional acceptance. And so the pricing breakdown is $71,250 for tuition. Book estimate package is $3,000. Knowledge test exams, $1,038. Check rides, $5,600. The 5% overage estimate is $3,500. And they have the living expenses estimate to be around $18,000, which is $1,500 a month. In total, that is $102,388. So the difference here between the two is that one, if you go to United Aviate Academy, they cover the cost of your private pilot's license. Hey, Editing Sky here again. So what I got from this cost breakdown is that the United Aviate Academy does come up to a little bit less because they do cover the private pilot's license. So it's about $102,000 and the ATP is 111. So you got a little bit of a difference there. The breakdown from earlier where we got to 111 with ATP does include the housing price that they estimate. So those aren't really set in stone, but same thing with Aviate. So Yeah, $111,000 for ATP, $102,000 for Aviate, and those are estimations. I wanted to add this because I worked at the airport for about 3 years, and I've never met a pilot that complained about how much it costs to go to flight school. Of course, it sucks when you first go and you don't have the money, but I think as you work, it's gonna be worth it, and as you show up, it's gonna pay off big time. And also shout out to Colin, who responded to my last video, and I saw this just before recording it, and he said, definitely take the opportunity if you can. With a program like this, if you're serious enough about aviation, you will make the money difference back in 1 month when you're actually flying for United, so don't worry about that. Totally worth the relocation regardless of what's holding you to your spot. So he touched on 2 topics we just previously talked about, which is location and also kind of cost. Like it's worth it regardless of what school you go to. The next topic that I wanted to talk about is student housing. Both ATP and United Aviate Academy offer student housing, but it's a little different. So for ATP, they have student housing, but it's more so like a partnership with local apartment complexes. So they have discounts with local apartment complexes. These would be furnished apartments. You would have a roommate, and the deposit is $250. But these apartments do vary by location and availability. For this video, I did some research for the one that's closest to my location, and there was no availability, and those apartments start at around $1,500 for a 2-bedroom. So I'm curious to know what the discount would be. Something tells me that it would be a little high just based off of where these locations are. They're so close to the airport, and typically those do have higher rates. So United Aviate Academy does have on-campus housing, which is like a 5-minute walking commute from campus. What's really good about this is that you will not have a roommate, and it's also about $650 to $750 per month. Okay, so the pro for the United program is that you wouldn't have roommates, so if you want a little bit of like wiggle room and some space, you have that, and also there's no commute. You could just walk to class, whereas with ATP, you would probably need a vehicle, and it would be a little commute for you. A few of the things that I came across with Aviate are that the dorms are full for at least this year, so I wonder what the rates would be near Phoenix for whatever apartment complexes they are working with. And then also, I know that with ATP, you're pretty much on your own, but I wonder if Aviate Academy has meal plans for those that are living on campus, you know, and decide not to like bring a vehicle and stuff like that. So if you know, let me know in the comments below. Next, I wanted to just briefly talk about the different aircraft types because it might make a difference to some of you guys. So ATP has Cessna Skyhawk 172s, Piper Seminoles, and Piper Archers, and Aviate has Cirrus SR20s and also Piper Seminoles. So I think that Aviate has newer planes, of course, because it's a newer program, and I think the Cirrus SR20s are going to be pretty cool to learn on, but that's just for if anybody wanted to know. So the next topic that we're going to talk about is the length of the training programs. Both ATP and Aviate are accelerated flight training programs, so the intention is for you to learn how to fly relatively quickly. ATP's program is 7 months from 0 time, and Aviate is 12 months from 0 time. 7 months is an insanely short amount of time to go from 0 time, but the program does exactly what it's intended to do. It's to get you in and get you out as quickly as possible because seniority is very important in the airlines. Aviate is still an accelerated program, but being that you have 5 more months to accomplish the same thing, I'm willing to bet it's a lot more relaxed. Like, you're still gonna have to work, you're still gonna have to study and put the work in, but trying to accomplish all that in 7 months versus 12 months, I can see where you can have a little bit more like freedom, for lack of a better word. Which is now gonna bring me into the next topic, which is quality of life. I'm gonna read to you guys the text message I had with my flight instructor at the flight school I'm at. He went to ATP and he doesn't instruct at ATP, obviously. I asked him, what was your schedule like at ATP? Like, how many days per week / how many hours of flying or doing groundwork? And he said they have you pretty much treated like a 9 to 5 and expect you to be there every single day. They also don't want you to have a job outside of ATP, and whenever you're not at the school, you can expect to be studying during the majority of your free time. So, I mean, I think that it kind of elaborates on what I just said, right? To be honest though, that's to be expected from a program that's 7 months. Like, you have to work hard. And I don't think that you're gonna be able to have a job if you're at Aviate Academy either. It's just that you're going to have a little bit more wiggle room and breathing room and more time to study than you would at ATP. So that's just all I'm saying when it comes to that. I also asked my instructor before why he never instructed at ATP, and he was just saying like pretty much quality of life. Like it's kind of, the schedule is ridiculous and he'd prefer to just fly at a mom and pop school and get hours that way. So that brings us to the next topic, which is instructing / your instructor or you becoming an instructor. I wanted to talk about this a little bit because I feel like you'll have a different experience with instructors depending on what flight school you go to. Like ATP instructors are mostly just students trying to rack up their time. They don't really have a passion for teaching. They just want to teach you so that they can get their hours so that they can get to the airlines, right? Flight school that I'm taking lessons is a mom and pop flight school. So some of the instructors there genuinely have a passion for teaching, or like are older individuals that just love to fly and love to teach and be around people. So you have a different experience when someone is doing it because they're passionate versus like trying to crank out some hours for school. Because Aviate is a fairly new program, I'm not really sure what the instructors are like there, but I'm willing to bet that it's a little different from ATP because unlike like ATP and you go into the school and after you leave and you get your hours, you're like done. At Aviate, a lot of the instructors, I'm willing to bet, want to go to United, and so they're trying to keep like an open line of communication and really like do their best. I've met quite a few student pilots that went to ATP that had to switch their instructors because they felt like they weren't getting a real bang for their buck. The good thing about both of these programs is that after you finish your flight training, you can build hours however you like. However, I also wanted to mention with ATP Flight School, you can apply to be an instructor at a certain location, but it is based off of availability. I can totally understand like someone not wanting to relocate to instruct because it's not like you're making big pilot money at that point. And I understand because after you take out all those loans to go to flight school, you don't want to rack up more debt by trying to relocate, and you're not getting that much money as a flight instructor yet. The next topic that I want to talk about is your acceptance and your enrollment timeline, because for those of us that set goals and want to start something by a certain time, this might be a deal breaker in your decision making. So at ATP, you pretty much just fill out an online application and then you can show your proof of funding, and I'm willing to bet once you show that stuff, you can start within 2 weeks if you'd like. However, Aviate Academy has an application process, and from me applying to getting a conditional acceptance, it took about 6 months. And then you also have another 4 months to submit your documents, and then you have to wait again for your class date, which might be in a few months. So you're looking at a timeline of over a year if you want to go to United Aviate Academy versus a month time frame if you wanted to go to ATP. So if you're trying to look at the enrollment time and stuff when you are trying to consider what flight school to go to, that might be a deal breaker. Last but not least, let's talk about the benefits of each program. Clearly, ATP with the 7-month program has the fastest program, and that is really, really good if you're just trying to get your time really quick, get in and get out. Also, for eligible instructors at ATP, there is a Direct to Frontier and a Direct to Spirit program where as you get to a certain amount of hours, you can be eligible to interview at one of those airlines. But the key word is instructor, so that would mean that you would have to be an instructor at ATP in order to qualify. ATP also does have many locations, so if you're not ready to relocate right now and there's an ATP location close to you, you can enroll and not have to switch up your lifestyle that much. And a benefit of the Aviate Academy is that you get to be a part of a newer program, you get to fly some newer aircrafts, and then you also kind of have your foot already in the door, have a leg up when it comes to the application process to be a United pilot. But thank you guys for hanging out with me on today's video. I am so excited to be sharing my aviation journey with you guys. I am going to be using my channel to document my aviation journey, but of course it's going to be a few months until I'm really able to go full time. So I'm going to be just documenting how I'm preparing, but also you're going to see some of my small business vlogs and my home vlogs trickled in on my channel. So make sure you subscribe to stay up to date and stay tuned. Also, I'm gonna leave my last video on the application process for United Aviate Academy if you're interested in watching that. But also don't forget to let me know how you felt about today's video. Did you make a decision on what flight school you're going to yet, or are you still in the research phase? I would love to hear from you guys. Also, don't be afraid to leave some video suggestions for the future, but make sure that you like this video, subscribe to stay connected, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. So later.